feel bad saying I think you're Roxanne's whipping boy.
But why?
Yeah, Ultimatum, Season 2. We just watched episodes 5 through 8.
Right? Yeah, we did our video of 1 through 4, posted that this morning, and ready to rock and roll on these 5 through 8 one now.
Yeah, so what do you think about these last couple episodes?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty, I mean, I think the couplers are definitely going to learn more about each other and themselves, but I thought it was pretty mellow, man, as far as there was really no hanky-panky between any of the couples. We didn't see any really, any kind of real connection between any of the new couples, right? No real emotion, or no real, what's the word I'm looking for here? Sexual connection or any of that. They really just weren't into each other.
Did they need that, or did you need that, Billy?
I mean, so it's kind of like Ryan said, right? If they're really going to get into this and kind of fill this out and what they need, maybe they needed that. I don't know.
But Ryan said that, but then when she hears that it kind of went that way,
right.
and it didn't even go physical, just even that emotional connection on the other side, she didn't like that.
Well, I think for a lot of people, emotional is even worse than physical, right? So.
Yeah, I got to tell you, too, like, my opinion of these people really changed on the back half of these episodes compared to the first 4.
Oh, yeah,
so,
we
and a lot what we thought wasn't accurate.
We were dead wrong.
I mean, there was somebody who commented and said, "Can't wait till you guys watch your or hear your opinions after you watch these 5 through 8." And you're right.
And most of that happened, I think, with Alex and Roxanne, who started off having a strong connection, or at least what we thought was a strong connection.
Yeah.
So.
Not knowing that, behind the scenes, Roxanne's thinking he's a freaking lying douchebag, So
yeah,
like, damn.
Bitch asses, I believe what she called them.
Yeah, let's get it going. So bitch ass meets with Roxanne's family.
And it
Alex.
goes somewhat great on the surface level.
Yeah, like her parents seemed to like him.
They had Larry had a whole list, Larry's list of questions.
Oh yeah. And then the one question he asked him, he's like, "Would you marry yourself?" And it took him a minute to answer, and he's like, see, you should have been able to answer immediately, saying, "Hell yeah, I'd marry myself, and this is why."
And he gave him way too much credit for that,
he did.
because he was like, the other guy stumbled along. I'm like, he also stumbled along the answer to that question. But I guess in that moment, he's just like above average.
Well, he probably didn't know he was getting like a full-on interview at the time, so he's like, "Man, I probably should have prepared for this."
That's right.
So
I don't think he thought that at all, because I don't think he cares.
Yeah, I don't think he cares either.
So I don't think he cares about what other people think about him.
That's one thing we learned about Alex, man. That dude's very self-centered. Very self-centered.
I mean, he just is he has a complete disregard for other people's feelings.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know how to, like, he puts his thoughts out there. He's honest to a fault, I guess. But, it doesn't matter how it lands.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's honest, but at the same time, he's not willing to admit his failures and mistakes either. So
because he's fine.
Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, and I don't know. This
is fine too.
Yeah, I don't really have much of an issue with him personally, but like,
I can't believe that.
They ask him about, do you pull the chair out and open doors and stuff like that? And he thinks about it and says, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do that."
Right,
stuff.
and she was like, "No."
Yeah, and then she tries to call him out on that.
Well, she says, "Well, not all the time." But then later on, when she's talking, she says, he's never done that.
I think she was trying to help him save face a little bit with her parents, maybe. But, yeah. And she called it white lies.
Yeah, and they act like this is like a critical question and response, and it's a big deal. Do you guys see it that way?
So for her parents, evidently, it is a big deal, right? Her dad's like, dude, he's like, we come over to your house, there ain't gonna be no damn you sit in front of the TV watching football and that crap. You better get your ass off the couch.
Better say hello to me.
Us. Better show some respect for the family.
Yeah. I really like her dad.
Yeah,
I like that he came prepared with questions like that. I also like that he asked her and put her on the spot. Mm-hmm. What are you doing to support him and to, make sure he's happy? And she's like,
I wonder if Antonio got the same treatment.
I bet he did. Yeah, I bet he did. Her dad seems very structured, in the questions he asked and stuff like that. So you can definitely tell he went there prepared to answer the questions he's going to ask. I'm sure Antonio got the same thing. And he even said, "I asked this to every boyfriend," right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure Antonio got that same treatment.
But her dad did give him above average remarks or grades on his responses.
Right.
So.
Yeah, which I don't know. I wouldn't have given him that. But.
No, I wouldn't either. I'd be like, okay, dude, you didn't impress me.
Do you think they were impressed at all with him, though?
A little bit.
Yeah, they seemed like they were, but I don't know what the hell he said that was impressive to me. I was like, okay, I didn't see he was very impressive at all in that little interview with the dad.
Well, I don't think he was that impressive, but at the same time, I don't think he messed anything up.
Yeah. I did find it odd that when he talked about, like, can you see yourselves together? And, like, if you talked about, like, if you were to get married and children, they're like, oh, yeah, we'd want to have 12 children. We actually talked about this early on and everything. Like, like they actually had a conversation what a future with themselves would look like. And later on, it's like you find out that they hate each other. So, like, I don't know where that went wrong. I think I do know where that went wrong. We'll get to that.
Yeah, and then Trey goes and meets Ryan's sister.
Yeah, so I thought that was weird. Another reason why I think damn well that Ryan's not into Trey because she didn't bring him to meet the parents, right? It was just a sister.
Yeah, no parents involved.
Yeah, it was just a sister and sister.
Her,
no, it's her brother. It's her brother and the girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, it seems like the brother and the girlfriend must have been together for quite a long time because the girlfriend knew a lot about Ryan and kind of was talking to Trey about her and all that, so... And they were, and I think they were asking them some pretty good questions. But you could tell, like, through the whole time that, I mean, she's looking at Trey like a best friend. Like they get along great, they have a great time together. But she's definitely not intimately, connected with Trey.
Yeah, I did find it odd that the brother made the comment that he's never seen Ryan come out of her shell so much, and that she seems like a different person, and that seemed like a comment that was kind of odd to hear. Because I don't really see her being out of her shell
especially
either,
since her and James were together for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and again, and he's talking about like that with somebody she's intimate with, right? So if she's not seeing Trey as like an intimate type person, just seeing him as a friend that she can talk to and stuff, kind of makes more sense, right? So
yeah.
Or less sense. I don't know.
What do you think about these two in general right now?
As far as like just the two nicest people in the best relationship, and again, because it's more of a friendship, these two got it, right? I mean, they're just very, very, very kind, very generous, very courteous. They talk to each other. They take each other's opinions into consideration when they're talking and they're discussing things. So, I mean, as far as like who's got the most healthy relationship right now, it's those two.
And I think they've
but
learned
they're
a
not
lot.
intimate at all. They're not holding hands. They're not kissing.
It's more of a friendship.
There's no romance.
Yeah. I mean, he would like it to go there, but you could tell she doesn't.
Why do you think she's not doing that? Do you think she just has too much respect for James?
I think she's too much in love with James and really wants that to work. To be quite honest. I mean,
I don't know. I think
he's her first.
She's done with James.
Nah. Not at that point.
Rocky.
Not at that point. I don't think she was yet.
Now then, they have the guys and ladies' night, and this is always awkward because you're sharing your experience with someone with their ex.
Yeah, and it definitely got a little heated with old Antonio and freaking Alex, man.
A little bit. I mean, Alex is pretty relaxed during these conversations, I think.
Alex doesn't get flustered he's just like, I don't know why you're talking to me. Like, I don't know why you're asking this question. I've given you an answer. You don't like the answer. You want more detail. And he's like, I don't know how I could be any clearer. And Antonio's like, I need words verbatim.
Right. You need to tell me what happened, what was said. And he's like, dude, I think you're feeding me full of BS.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I think's going on is Antonio's very insecure, so he wants the details.
Yeah.
And he's worried that Alex has some qualities that he doesn't that I think Roxanne might like.
He admits that later, right?
Yeah. But then he also says that he's not, he thinks it's all lies because any of the things that he knows are bad quality or that she doesn't like about him, they've already discussed.
Talked about, yeah.
So it's like, you can tell me anything. What does he ask? He asks him to like,
be straight with me. He's like, be straight. He's like, don't hold back about my feelings.
Or come after him or something. Yeah. I can't remember what his quote was.
Like, don't worry about it.
How about you fucking talk shit about me to my face right now?
And I'm like, what? And no.
Break me down.
Right. Hit me, bro. Go ahead.
Because he's asking Alex questions, and Alex is kind of like dodging them to a certain extent,
Yeah.
And
Alex is definitely dodging.
I don't know if Alex is really doing that to not offend him or to not reveal certain things or what. But
I just don't think Alex
is kind of cagey.
I don't think Alex cares that much about it.
And Alex says that
So we got a comment here from Teresa, and I agree. Kat is probably the only person that would tolerate Alex, but she shouldn't.
Yeah,
100% agree.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is just very interesting, man. This is where it starts to turn because everything seems hunky-dory to this point with Alex and Roxanne, but now they're kind of dishing on the negative aspect.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you see that on the flip side when you go to the girls' night, right? You hear Roxanne doing the same thing.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder, obviously the freaking producers and editors did a hell of a job in the first 4 episodes, not letting us see any of the negative stuff, right? Because it had to have been there, but they didn't show it to us.
There were some clues because, like, when they're talking to the parent, she says, "I think this is like the most like in-depth conversation we've had," and you're like, "That's kind of interesting."
They talked about having 12 kids at some point.
Right, exactly.
I don't know.
And they talked about sex a little bit and stuff like that, but they seem to have been focused on work. These two always talk about how focused they are on work.
What do they do for a living, Josh?
Well,
She owns like an IT company.
Entrepreneur.
Right. And then one of the thing is, and she's like, and he says he's working all the time. She's like, but I catch him napping during the day and all this other
He
crap. She's like,
actually
what the hell
works
he's doing?
more than her.
Yeah,
That's what he
made
says,
that
right.
comment. So I'm like, they're in competition.
They're competing with each other. Who can put in the most hours at home?
Who's the better entrepreneur here?
That's right, exactly.
So but when she's talking to Kat, or even just like before the one-on-one with Kat, she's talking about
To the group.
Yeah, to the group, that he's not everything that he's cracked up to be. Yeah.
Well, but then she made some like kind of rude remarks like that because she was like, oh yeah, like if Alex wanted to if I wanted to get physical, he'd be all about it.
Yeah.
She's saying all this crap to Kat. I'm like, come on, man, you ain't gonna do it. You
poor
don't gotta
Kat,
go there with
she's
Kat.
just sitting there. She's
Yeah.
like, oh.
You
She did say that right in front of her, and you're like, what?
And Kat looked
what?
uncomfortable as hell. She was like, she's like, yeah, okay, but she looked super uncomfortable. And it's like, why did you?
She said, I'm open to hooking up.
Right, yeah,
and you're
exactly.
like,
Like, then that tells me like she's not there for the right reasons. I don't think she knows what the right reasons are.
how are you going to say that to the person's ex or
Right.
partner or whatever you want to
Especially when
this person.
afterward you pull her aside and you have this side conversation, and during the side conversation you're actually speaking respectfully to her. You're on her side, like, hey, you shouldn't have to deal with Alex's BS.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. But when you just got in, kind of crapping on her in front of everybody else,
Yeah.
So.
I liked how Kat is like, well, Antonio's really into conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And Roxanne's like, I hate that shit.
She's like, I really like how he's passionate about it. Nope, it's annoying. I hate it.
Alex, he's always being pressed by Antonio, and then he's like, I don't think she respects you. And later on, this comes back to bite him.
This
But
is a
like,
big
how
problem.
everyone sees that, I think, at this point.
No doubt.
I don't see how no one sees it. Like, I don't even see how Antonio does it. I think he's just in denial.
No, I think he is as well. He's like, no, bro, she would never say something like that about me. And it's like, well, she might not say it, but she sure as hell insinuated,
and
right?
then he does get Alex. It's like, I don't know why we keep harping on this. She never said it. It's my impression of it.
Right.
Yeah, he has to say that a couple times.
You're her whipping boy.
Yeah.
Whipping boy.
She would never
And I
say
think that's
that.
a pretty accurate description.
Well, especially when we
based
see what
on
happens after, right?
the interaction. So.
Yeah. But I mean, then you had a good conversation between James and Trey, right? Like they said, kind of pull each other's side. They were talking about different aspects of Ryan and kind of, and
Very
Ryan
gentleman's
relationships.
conversation.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, they had a good
We
conversation.
discussed Ryan in intimacy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but I think James kind of lied a little bit there because he was like, we started talking about she'd be open to sex, and I don't remember Ryan, at least on TV, we never saw her actually say that, right? So.
Yeah, but then he also, I guess Trey said that he had gotten a text from her saying, I think he thinks I want to have sex with him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's kind of miscommunication.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think he's worried about holding hands because he thinks that'll lead to that.
Yeah.
But she's just like, no. Yeah, and Alex also tells Antonio, like, you should be in bed with Kat. Instead of sleeping on the air
He's like,
you should definitely be in bed with my girl. I don't know why.
He's like, you're not sleeping with her? That's weird, man. He's like, this is a trial marriage. You should definitely be in that bed. It's like,
that was weird. It is kind of weird because they were all saying like they're they essentially did these like partner swaps, these 2 different couples, or 4 couples, 2 with 2 or whatever. And each of these couples are telling the other person like, yeah, you shouldn't be with that person. It's like, so they should choose your person? You should encourage them to want to be with their person.
Right.
James is having conversations, and he's like, I got some deep, dark secrets.
Right.
They're bad.
And it's like, man, this dude like murdered somebody when he was 13? Like, what the hell? What the hell is going on
They're
here?
bad.
It's got skeletons in the
I don't even want to share them with you, but they're there.
Right. Because he's like, there's stuff from my past that Ryan didn't know. And he's like, dude, you've been with her since you were 16. Like, what the hell,
Like, what kind of relationship have you had for 7 years that these emotional scars haven't come up?
No, it's definitely weird, yeah. And especially when you find out later on what they were, and it's like, well, bro, when you couldn't tell her that, it's like, come on now.
I don't understand why
I
he's...
can see that's traumatizing, but the person you've been with for 7 years, you can't tell that?
Yeah.
Well, James also tells Trey that Raya is not ready to be married.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to try to steer you one way or another, but I kind of think that maybe she just ain't ready for this right now.
Which I do agree with that. Yeah. I love Raya, but she's not ready for marriage.
No, I mean, she still wants to go visit. You know, she said she wants to live in the city for a year, and
she shouldn't have to compromise that at 24. You know, if that's what you want to do.
She's talking about Atlanta. I mean, I've been to Atlanta. I'm not. And if you want to go to a city, girl, there's plenty of other better cities than Atlanta. But you know, whatever.
Well, she's like a mugwai, like Gremlin. You can't get her wet either.
We've been talking about that a lot, girl.
Okay, yeah, she can't get wet.
No, not that.
Oh, well, we gonna hop right in.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting conversation.
Man. Dude, and the shitty thing about that.
Like, oh wait, that's not what we were talking about.
That kind of came out of nowhere, though.
Dude, and
he had to rewind. He's like, what? What did they just say?
And he's like, yeah. Of course, he gets up and walks away. You know, he's like, all right, well, I'll let you girls talk about this.
Like,
you know,
I gotta go somewhere.
Yeah, and that's got to be embarrassing as hell for him for this to be on national TV. Like, he can't get his girl wet. You know, I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
But
not that I need.
You're jumping
to know.
ahead here, Josh.
Yeah, I know. I'm jumping ahead, but this might play into it quite a bit because this isn't mentioned until later. But maybe that's compounding all the issues, and maybe that's why she is trying to be affectionate with James and all this. So
yeah, maybe.
Like those issues could be like a physical issue she has, regardless of who her partner is.
Yeah, it's.
But
Trey ain't getting it done. Trey ain't getting it done.
Totally, it's all Trey's fault.
All Trey.
Yeah.
Man ain't
you
getting it
guys
done.
can get the job done. That's
I can teach you a few things, Trey. Give me a call,
male
bro.
egos right
well,
here.
you know, James knows something about foreplay. Maybe he needs to pass that information on. I don't know.
That's right.
They have had very respectful conversations. Maybe James and Trey need to have that conversation.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
And they didn't have that conversation.
No, they sure didn't. They sure didn't.
But Antonio and Kat are like trying to piece this together and figure out what's going on with Alex and Roxanne.
Oh, yeah.
He's talking with Kat and he's like, he's a goddamn liar.
Well, Kat is very respectful and she's like, okay, well, going into the night, I did know some information and I didn't want it to affect your night. So, but like, we'll go ahead and talk about it. So I got a text from
Alex's parents
and they don't think that she likes you.
He's a fucking liar. Mm-hmm. And his fucking parents are liars too.
There is no reason for them to lie about that, you know?
He's like, her parents are damn liars too.
He's a liar and they're liars too.
It's a big conspiracy. He is the conspiracy theorist guy.
That's true.
And this isn't really a surprise because she has been kind of crapping on Antonio this whole time, like since day one. Like Antonio wants to marry her, and then as soon as she talks to people, she talked to Brian and she talked to Alex, and she said, "Well, maybe I'm just not with the right guy."
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe I'm ready to get married someday, but this guy ain't the right guy for me.
All the girls have heard it. All the guys have heard it. But Antonio hasn't heard. Like, he doesn't, he's like, I'm not listening.
He shuts some ears, man.
And I gotta tell you, I liked Antonio. I thought he was killed to this, but like, my opinion really changed on him after his conversation with Alex and how he interacts with Roxanne.
I do not like, there's a lot of things about Alex I do not like, but he is not wrong. She does not respect him, and he is definitely her whipping boy.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and we saw that happen whenever he calls her. And he's trying to have a conversation with her. She's like, you need to get over here now so we can talk about this purpose. And this dude doesn't walk. This dude gets outside and hauls ass.
He's got his phone. He's like, gotcha, baby.
He's
all you do is see him like take off running. He takes off running, and then Kat's like, what in the world?
Right. Where did you go?
And then, like, she opens the door and she's like,
well, as he's running, it then goes to Alex and Roxanne. And she's like, because he called her prior to that and like says, hey, what's up? Like, why is this dude saying this? And is this true? And whatever. And then she gets pissed off because she's like, why are you betraying my trust and telling him this crap? And she questions whether she actually even said those things.
Yeah, she's like, did I ever tell you that I don't respect him? And he's like, well, maybe not in those words, but I mean, you pretty much insinuated.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't back down, and she's not used to that, obviously, because she has the whipping boy, right? Like, and he's like, you can raise your voice, you can get mad, like, I don't think you respect him. Like, no, you didn't say I don't respect him, but
you insinuated. Yeah.
Look at it. Look at the situation.
And the weird thing about that is, like, he's the one who solicited that information from Alex. Like, Alex was cool just hanging out and being quiet, and he's like, no, tell me, I can handle it. But it doesn't look like he actually can.
He's like Lisa thinking she can handle this stuff, right?
He's a liar.
Nope.
Yeah.
He's a liar.
Not about, man.
So, I mean, that was an interesting turn. And, like, he calls Alex an S-bag.
Why the fuck this shitbag can fucking look me in the eye and think that he can just say shit like that?
Don't call him a shitbag. He's not a shitbag.
He's a liar.
He's not a shitbag. Don't say that.
Right.
From the
And
other
she's
friend.
defending him, so
Yeah.
I'm actually, Kat's going, like, her stock is going up in my
Cat's
opinion.
good, dude. I like Cat a lot.
Kat deserves a lot better.
Oh, hell yeah. She'd do better than either one of those guys, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. At this point in time, like, I think this is when I started to think this show would be more interesting if they all did, like, maybe 2 weeks with each other. Like, they all got time with every partner so they could see different personalities and different takes on it. Because I think Kat needs to see the Alex situation, but I also think that would have helped maybe Antonio see the situation because everybody else can see it, but he can't hear it. So maybe if he's with other people, like, because he just automatically assumes who he's with, there must be lying.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very interesting because everything Alex said, like, you know,
It's
Antonio proves in the next
Yeah.
couple scenes pretty
Oh, yeah.
much. So,
Yeah.
but Alex and Roxanne are having a pretty intense
Oh, do they
conversation.
get into it? And then she's like, dude, like, you ain't helping me around the house. He's like, I took out that trash.
Yeah. Well, she's like, big whoop. And she's like, well, you're the one making a big deal about opening doors. That who cares about that too
Right.
and stuff.
Right.
So it's
Well, I
like,
thought in the same sentence, she's like, we decided we were going to clean on this one
On
day.
Sundays, yeah.
And I'm in there cleaning the toilet, and you didn't help me clean the toilet. And then he says, well, I took out the trash. Oh, big deal, you took out the trash.
She's
So,
like-
but
she's
it's
like-
a big deal to help clean the toilet.
Yeah.
But, like, he did
Well,
do
but she did say, look, I cleaned the kitchen, I unloaded and loaded the dishwasher, I cleaned the bathroom, I cleaned X, Y, and Z, and
Yeah,
you
but
never got to help with any of it. So
but he's
she
like,
basically-
how's that
he-
work though?
Yeah.
I mean,
And he's like-
he
and he's
be
like-
told what to do.
Yeah, he's like, you're not my mom.
Yeah. If he
Which I
wants,
thought was kind of childish
he
saying
knows
that,
what
right? But
needs to be cleaned when it needs
when
to be
it when it
cleaned.
needs to be
It was
cleaned.
kind of
No.
childish, but she
Yeah.
was treating him like a child a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
so.
she was.
Well,
I
that's
could
because she's been with a child.
Right.
Yeah, and here's the thing. She's kind of denying that she treats Antonio like this, but yet she says, why did you betray my trust? So she's kind of acknowledging
Yeah,
it
and
at
he
the
says that.
same time.
Yeah, he's,
so
like, you're flat out admitting that what I said to
Right.
Antonio is true, right?
And then on top of that, everything that he has said about Kat in the situation, she turned around and went and told Kat.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's
yeah,
like,
I mean, she's a big hypocrite
Oh, yeah,
because
at
she
this point,
wasn't
yeah.
looking out for him, and she was just
yeah, it just didn't
Yeah.
backfire on her.
Yeah, she was telling Kat, like, you deserve way better than this guy. You know, he's a freaking liar.
yeah. And I don't
you know,
think
so-
Alex would have turned that around like she did, but
because I don't think Alex cares.
No, he doesn't. and that's it. Alex just doesn't give a shit. Alex cares about Alex.
Stay, go. I don't care.
And he cares about his little world, and that's it, right?
Yeah,
So,
he's like, I got a job.
yeah.
I gotta go work.
But I did
Or
feel.
nap.
I
don't
mean,
know.
I get that Alex comes off like egocentric and kind of a little bit douchey, but I think he was pretty calculated in his responses. And like Roxanne's like, I'm not bothered and flustered, but like then she's like tipping over drinks and
Right.
stuff. She's clearly flustered.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
She was mad.
And I like how he didn't really back down too much from
Right.
her, where she's a
Dude.
strong personality.
Yeah.
But then the next day, when they're talking, and she sits him down, she said, look, man, I just got to
Yeah.
tell you, I'm sorry about what happened last night, what I said.
That was hilarious.
He's like, okay, I'm going to finish packing.
He's like, cool.
Wait,
And she's like, well, hold on.
Yeah, don't you have an
anyone
apology
tell
or
me?
maybe
Yeah.
something you want to say?
Like how you felt about it? Do you think maybe you handled it wrong? And he was like, nah.
He's like, no, I pretty much stand by what I said.
I'm really happy with how I played that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They played it up pretty well. Yeah.
And yeah, that's a little odd, but I get what he's saying, but yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you're still a little douche when you were
Yeah.
saying it, though, bro.
And I love how like he leaves. She's
They
like,
call me, but I'm working on this thing where I don't talk to exes.
Exes?
So,
I'm glad.
alright.
like, well, you know, I don't really communicate with exes, and he's just
He's like,
like,
all right, it's cool.
fantastic. He's like, that's fine by me. Yeah, but I mean, this was supposed to be like the strong couple, the
Oh,
one
yeah,
that
dude, it
maybe leave their partners for each other, and
Based on
then
the first
they
four
are like the
episodes,
worst
man.
off
I mean,
now.
this took me by a huge surprise after those first 4 episodes, man. We thought, oh, these two are going to be the ones, and then boom, like, nope.
This is where Antonio arrives, like after the run. So
she's
like
like,
he's
"Did you run?"
been
'Cause
running
he's
during
out
this
of
whole
breath.
conversation. Like,
Right.
he finally gets there, and she's like, "Did you run here?" He's like, "Yeah." Remember?
And then he says something. He's like, "Did you really say?" She's like, "No.
He's a liar."
He's
Yeah.
a liar."
So moody the other couples after the the guys' night and girls' nights, and there was always just pretty mellow, right? And nobody had any really
Well,
big issues.
Trey and Ryan said, "I think we're the power couple here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think we're the
They said
best
we're
off."
definitely- yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't really agree with that.
She gives him the little balloon things. They're like, "We haven't fought, so let's
Yeah, so
fight."
fight.
But they're not a couple.
No, they're not, and that's the thing, right?
Yeah, so I get
they had the best
they're
relationship,
mature, and they're
like, as a
talking
friendship.
things through. And I think, Trey probably wants a little more, but
he does.
Ryan's friend zone this guy.
Yeah, totally friend zone, and that's
if
fine,
that.
right? So, and he understands that, and you know, and he respects it exactly. So.
Yeah. So I think.
So they actually are the best stuff out of everybody. The fact that they're actually,
agree.
you know, acting like two adults, having good friendly conversations together and kind of learning and growing from each other.
And
right?
I think they embrace the process. I mean, he
no
may
doubt.
have caught the feelings, but the whole point is they came there to see, why are they not with their partners? Like, why are they not ready to get married? Or why is my partner not ready to get married to me?
Yeah.
And is it worth the fight? Why should it be this hard? Is it easier in a different situation? And they really embraced that process and got to know a little bit more about themselves and what they needed and wanted from a relationship.
No, absolutely.
So,
yeah, I'm kind of torn on this because, I get that they're exploring things, they're talking things through. It's like a couple weeks counseling session with each other where they're getting exposed to things, but their relationship ain't solid, and the relationship with the other people aren't that solid.
No, but you got. They've got. She buys in this picture book. They've got a shit ton of pictures of each other.
Yeah, and if I'm James, I'm like, get rid of that shit. You know what I mean?
You ain't keeping that. And Ryan, the same thing, right? It's like, what the hell? Like, what the hell they do with these pictures after they put them in that photo album? Because ain't neither one of their freaking former or back to be reunited, boyfriend, girlfriends, or whatever, going to want to see that. So
they bring them all together at the table, and then they explore like time to reunite with your exes.
Yep. So they bring.
What do you think about that conversation?
Of course, you got freaking homeboy and his wife back talking, and of course she breaks down.
Vanessa and Nick Lachey.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where Vanessa was last time, but she's back.
So
but she even has a moment where she
breaks down,
cries, and I'm like, oh, Vanessa trying to make it about her. I guess I don't know, but
I get a little irritated by it too, and I know there's a lot of like comments out there on social media about how they hate how she brings it into it. But I guess in this, I don't like what she brings into Love Is Blind and brings that in. But what her relationship with Nick brings to this show specifically, it does relate.
Yeah, in this level and what she was talking about compared to what was being said, it made sense, right?
But she does try to.
It's not about you.
You say it at the beginning of the show, like that's why the show's created. We've experienced something similar, so we thought this would be a good thing. Be done with that.
Yeah. And the show's not about you, so let's not talk about you and Nick's relationship. Let's talk about these people here.
Right. And Nick doesn't see. He's like, whatever. She's on.
He's like patting her back. It's okay, baby.
She's crying.
Right. Yeah.
So at this point, the drama is really between like Alex, Roxanne, and Kat and Antonio.
Yeah, because everybody else is talking about their relationships, and it's pretty good. Like, yeah, we had
everyone's trying to learn from it except for them and move on for the most part.
Yeah, but they make the big drama.
Well, I don't think that Roxanne thinks she has anything to learn. I don't think that Alex thinks he has anything to learn.
Nah, I definitely agree with that. Alex thinks he's freaking God's gift to himself.
I think
and
Roxanne,
he's fine with the way he is.
Yeah, so then they go back to their couples and they're reunited and hanging out with them in their apartment and stuff. And everything between like Alex, or not Alex, but Antonio and...
This first night is good to go.
Yeah. That's where they show that scene.
Yeah,
they tricked us.
I was right that it was her.
Billy. He's 50% right, I guess, but he's really wrong.
I was 50% wrong. Yeah, that's right. I knew it was her. But it wasn't her and Alex. It was her and Antonio.
And they've changed because like Antonio's now doing more and picking up some stuff.
He woke up. Like she didn't have to worry about what time he was going to wake up. He woke up and he made breakfast. Can you believe it?
She's loving
it. So things are good for a whole 2 seconds before they start falling apart again.
Right, exactly. She's loving it. Well, that's because he starts telling her, "I love you, baby," and she's like, "Huh?"
It doesn't take long for her to go back to her old ways.
And what's funny was that he was like, and then he kind of like digs deeper on that, and he's like, "Well, I said I love you," and she's like, "Yeah, I wasn't feeling it in that moment." I didn't love you in that moment.
So this is where like Antonio, I'm torn on him because I didn't like him running. I don't like him being a bitch boy for her, but he is trying.
Whipping boy.
Same thing.
Those are Alex's words. These are my words, but. And I don't like that. I don't like that she disrespects him, and I don't like that he sees it. But he is trying.
No, he is trying.
So, I mean, I have more of an issue with Roxanne than him.
Absolutely.
But, I don't know.
And then when she tells him to sit down and have the conversation, he's really trying to express that what she's doing is hurting and fracturing this relationship, and that this is what he needs. She's like, "I think this conversation will go better with my feet in your lap.
Right.
Like-
Yeah, she's trying to make it funny, and
Yeah.
he's like,
She's like, you're
I'm
not
having a
laughing.
serious conversation. I
Right.
just told you I love you, and you're like,
yeah.
Yeah, she definitely just tries to play it off, and even when he sits down and talks to her about it, she's just like, yeah, kind of listening to him, but not responding, right? Not really
and then
reacting.
and you see this. They later go to meet her parents, so now you have her parents again. Love her dad. I love her
awesome.
dad. But then he's asking similar questions and everything, and in that moment, you can see that she's not owning it as well.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, then her dad kind of takes up a little bit there for Allie. Well, he tells Allie, "Say, look, man, if she's still wanting to go visit other cities and travel and all this stuff, well, then good luck to you, brother. You ain't got the money for that." He's like, but if she really is willing to settle down and stuff like she's saying she's doing, then it could work out
And
great.
I also hate that, like, she's like, yeah, and her mom keeps like, he's making the right moves, he's closing on his new business, and he's gonna open more businesses, and it's like, because he's got to be an entrepreneur, he
Right,
has to be a business owner. Can he not just
yeah,
have
I
a
mean,
decent
like,
job?
what is with
Yeah,
this
it's crazy, man.
entrepreneur? Now
Well,
he needs to be one.
Because even the dad was like, look, he's like, it took, he's like, me and your mom struggled for 10 years. He was
Yeah.
like, it took a lot of hard work and a lot of motivation to, for us to get on our feet. He's like, so come on, man, you just can't just,
She is
expect
so
to get
like
right off the
work
bat.
centric that like life is kind of passing her by, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Well,
Well, then she has that conversation with him, and they're talking, and she's like, look, you're talking like, you're wanting to, like, we're like in our, I'm in my 20s, and I'm dating 20-year-old,
Oh,
we date
yeah.
20-year-olds. She's like, it's because I'm older and I've got more life experience. And then it shows her ages.
They're
She's
1 year
31 and
apart.
he's 30.
They're 1 year apart.
I was like, what the hell is this chick talking about, man?
I
a
don't know.
whole year on him, man.
I was like, holy crap.
But also,
Yeah, and she's like, we're in different leagues
yeah,
here,
she's like, you
and
play
he's
sports,
like,
right? She's trying to like relate it to sports, and he's like, "Are you saying
I'm
that
out of your
we're
league?"
Out of your league? Like that was really offensive to him.
Oh, dude, that's totally bad.
I think that respect thing is starting to like. He's having a light bulb moment. You know what I mean?
She really doesn't
I don't know. I hope so.
You would hope
I
he is.
hope so, but I don't know.
Yeah, she wants to be the dominant person. She wants someone to essentially be her assistant or butler or whatever.
But
I don't
she
know.
keeps telling him to become a dominant person,
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
what's
so
odd.
strange. Yeah.
All right, so then let's move forward to Raya and Trey.
Yeah,
They're back
they sit
together
down
now
with
with the sister.
the sister, and that's
Yeah.
where they have that awkward
Oh, yeah,
conversation.
the sister's like, they're talking about problems. She's like, oh, you told him everything? Oh, about how you can't get wet?
I love she just throws that
And
out
he's
there.
like, whoa. He's like, no,
we weren't referring to that.
And she's like, no,
that's
no.
not what we're talking about.
We're working on it though.
So then he's like, all right, I'll excuse myself. So then he walks away, and she's like, girl, I don't know. I think I just need some handcuffs. I can slap around.
She might need a sex
Sex
swing.
swing.
Sex swing. Yeah,
Just gotta try a few things.
that's right.
Yeah,
She's like, I watched How to Create a Sex Room.
And this is like this goes to she's still discovering who she is.
Right.
Like, so I just don't think she's ready for marriage.
Well, then-
I think she'll be an excellent wife when she is. I think she's
Yeah,
a great
I mean, she's
person,
an awesome
and I
human
think
being.
she's realizing that.
They
And
got
I
some
think we're gonna
things
see
to
her
iron
come to
out
that.
because she wants to live in the city, but he doesn't.
Yeah, well, the thing is though, and I appreciated his point on this. She wants to live in the city, but she doesn't know what the hell she wants to do. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, what, you just want to up and move to the
and
city
I
without a
think
plan?
that's easy when you're a Hooters girl, where you don't
Right, you get a
have
job,
a very secure job and you can
Right.
just move around. But he's like, I can't
I'm an
just
engineer.
do that. And they both just want each other to do what they kind of want to do, and it's
Uh-huh.
hard to find middle ground because they're just
Well,
so different.
and
They're
when
two different places
and the-
at the wrong time.
And the funny thing is, she keeps talking. He's like, "Hey, it's compromise." She's like, "No, I don't want any compromise. There should be no more compromises." And it's like, "Honey, that's what relationships are all about. It's all about compromise, right? Marriage is about compromise."
She's
And
saying, I don't really want to compromise, but she's like, I want to live in the city, but not by myself. So I
Yeah.
kind of get what she's saying, but that's a tough decision.
It's tough because I get what she's saying. She doesn't feel like there should be that much compromise in a relationship. Relationships are compromised.
Exactly.
She does realize that, but it shouldn't be that much, and it shouldn't be that bad and that hard at this point in time. And that's why I don't think she's ready, because she needs to do what she wants to do. She's got to get that out of her system.
And I kind of get it. You have one life to live. When some guy's telling you, like, you're never going to have the city life, she's just like, what the heck?
Yeah,
I want
that's
that.
true.
I want that experience, and I want it with you. And he's like, I can't give it to you.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's a
I mean,
hard
I
spot
wanted
to
to
be
live
in.
in the
Right.
city, and I live in the burbs. So,
Well, you can't have everything in life either. So,
Then I became a travel employee, and I live in the city.
Okay, Vanessa. So
That's right.
Damn, that hurt a little bit.
But yeah, and then James.
I'm just saying I relate.
James and Ryan are struggling too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is like another constant struggle, just like that. Yet the power couples are struggling here.
Oh yeah. Like they have, it shows us that night when they're in the bed together talking and they're yelling at each other.
And at first it starts off as a mature conversation because like Ryan keeps bringing up like her relationship with Trey, and he's like, "Hey, can you just stop talking about Trey?"
Right. And she's like, if I want to talk about that, I should be able to talk about it, right? And he's like, dude,
what guy's going to hear like how you have such an amazing time with another guy? It's like
I feel like she could present that differently. She could say what I've learned over the last 3 weeks versus like
don't mention him though.
When I was with Trey.
I got a photo album. You want to see it?
Look at the great time.
Did you see my smile? I was always smiling.
And I believe she has no ill intention, but it's coming across pretty tone deaf for him.
Yeah, it was. So. Yeah. But so they kind of talked to her, but then that night, man, it was just like crazy. And he's like, they're going off, and he's like, well, you don't understand me, and I got PTSD because I had a shitty childhood and X, Y, and Z. And she's like, you know what? That's great, but at some point you got to grow up and get past that crap, and you got to have about my feelings too. You just can't blame
your stuff on other people. At some point, you have to take ownership for your own actions.
Exactly.
We do later meet his mom, and I kind of get it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm like,
he does say that's the issue. He's like, look, my dad wasn't, he was gone, and then like I had my mom who wasn't there, and you're like, why wasn't the mom there? But she's a trucker apparently, so like, yeah, you can. She's probably gone a lot.
She made, and when they met, she made the comment. She's like, yeah, I could have left you or been where your grandmother was, but why?
I had to make money.
Why?
So it kind of makes sense.
Wasn't important to her.
Money is definitely important to his mom. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Well, she's the provider. So, and like, it's hard to be a provider, especially when you're trucking, I imagine, and then try and be like a mother to your children at the same time. Like
I'm sure it ain't easy. Yeah, no doubt.
So. And I'm sure she tried to do the best she could. Well, she seems a little concerned because James' attitude starting to shift with her, where she's like, "What about NASA and like SpaceX?" And he's like, that's not what's important right now. What's important is me and her relationship and stuff.
Yeah, family.
So,
and she's like,
family.
Family. She's like, family. I don't understand. How is that important?
Well, she's like, you got to have money to get by in this world. Kind of like, I mean, she don't use those words, but
that's basically what she says. You're right, because then she was like, if I'm going to make money in another city, then I'm moving to that city.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
so I kind of get it, and maybe that's the problem. Is like his mom is pretty
she's not
blunt about that, and maybe he's missing that aspect.
And I gotta say, guys are so insensitive to this because I'm watching this and I'm like tearing up, and like as I'm tearing up, this guy says like, "I'm so bored right now." And I look up at him and I'm like sobbing, and he's like, "I don't get it."
Yeah, and I don't want to minimize people's struggles, but we all have them.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
And we all
Vanessa.
We all could just shut down based on anything. So, and we got to power through. We got to try and do what's right and find a way to keep on keeping on.
Yeah,
so, but what do you think about all these couples? What's going to be the outcome? What are the predictions here? Let's take it one at a time. Let's go with Alex. And Alex meets with his parents again.
Yeah, with her, right?
Yeah.
So and
I gotta tell you, I love Kat.
Dude, Kat's awesome, man. I love Kat. Yeah. She's awesome. And then they met with her friends too, right? So that was weird, man.
Oh, the friends.
Dude, like they met with Kat's friends, and it was supposed to be a girls' day. And then all of a sudden, Alex shows up out of the blue, and she's like, "Oh, Alex came to girls' day." Like, hey, Alex.
Now we know women do this kind of stuff. Yeah. They talk shit about.
I
say it in this tone because
they do.
It's something all guys kind of have to do.
Yeah, that's right. Women get together and they talk shit on the men.
The friends, right? Who love to talk shit and put thoughts in women's heads, and it's like you got to win them over too.
You'd rather,
but in this case,
their thoughts only be the ones that you put in their head.
Yeah. But in this case, these chicks were wrong, right? The shit they were saying, it was like, okay, yeah, it's pretty much on par with.
But it's like, who are you to like say some of this to him? That's for them two to figure out. But
and then he walks up, they're like, Alex,
that's reality.
Hey! And they're getting hugs and stuff.
Yeah, because they're like crapping on him, and then here he comes, and like, hey, what's going on? Whoa, yeah. And then they kind of go. Then they kind of go back to the interrogation mode and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I think So kind of like Antonio is with Roxanne, like he just wants her no matter what. I think Kat's kind of that way with Alex.
Yeah,
I think she's.
I think she's really hoping it works out. But
Exactly.
does Alex propose? And she
I wish she would have had. This is where I come back to. I wish they had gone to different partners and not because Antonio didn't really give her.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, and Ashley's idea is like they rotate completely around instead of just one partner.
Yeah.
Because she didn't see what it would be like to be with somebody else.
Right, just like Ryan did with James.
Exactly.
Right,
so I don't think she realizes yet that she's worth
There's
more.
better out there,
Yeah.
Because even with her friends are asking her these questions. She's like, "Oh yeah, I think he's getting better," and you could tell it's like, "Come on, man,
hasn't changed a bit.
He really hasn't.
Not a bit.
Or maybe a little.
No.
I think he does. I think he does realize at this point a little bit that like she is more his type than like someone like.
I think he
Roxanne and
realizes
stuff
that, but I don't think he's willing to change himself.
Yeah, I don't know if he's willing to change. So I think he does have a little bit more insight than he did in the past.
I think he's not interested in staying.
I'm split on this one. Like I could see him saying yes, but I'm leaning more towards him saying no.
I really hope
Make a bold prediction, Billy.
I really hope that even if he says yes, that Kat would say no. But I know she wouldn't.
Kat is so smitten.
Yeah, I think if he proposes, she's going to say
saying yes 100%.
I know.
She is
but I think he's
like
waffling on
She's
it.
like Antonio in that situation.
And I don't know why he'd be waffling on it because she's amazing.
No, yeah, I don't know why he's either. He's an idiot. That's why. But yeah, I think he is going to say, you know what? I'm going to say he says yes. I'm going to say
I think he does too.
I'm going to say he proposes.
I think he does too.
I'm going to say he proposes.
Because he ain't no dummy at the end of the day, I don't think.
He
and
says no.
that's the girl for him because she puts up with his crap.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to Roxanne and Antonio.
Roxanne, it's funny. As much as Antonio's smitten with her, there's something about him that she's smitten with too, where she wants to keep him around. And maybe it's because she can walk all over him. I don't know what it is, but there's something about him that just keeps her around. Because they said they've broken up and gotten back together a couple times and stuff, right? So I'm just
he tries to give her what she wants, and
Who's
he's
gonna
hot.
put up
Why?
with her
I
too?
mean,
This is a very similar situation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
I hope.
Now I think Kat has more going on for her than Antonio has.
Right? Yeah, no doubt about it.
Antonio didn't get anything out of this process, and that's sad because Antonio should have had self-realization and growth from this process to realize that.
Well, he's just like Kat, he's kind of a little bit blind.
Right, exactly.
I mean, he realizes there's probably a problem, but he's the one who issued the ultimatum and said like, and I mean, Kat did too, but like he says, I'm gone initially, and I don't know if he's gonna.
But then he was like, he was crying like, all right, baby, let's just get out of here. So I'm with Roxanne saying no in this one. I think as much as there's something there that just keeps her going back to that kid, I think she's going to say no.
He's 1 year younger.
Yeah, no, but he acts like a kid. So
I mean, this is very interesting to me because these two couples are in very similar situations.
Yeah, they are.
And then they swapped where you have two of the power people together, two of the weaker people together. And you would think like maybe like Kat and him would form a connection because they're similar, but
didn't happen because they didn't allow that to happen.
Well,
he didn't allow it to happen.
Yeah, he was so all in. I don't even want.
But we don't even know what Kat would have done if he would have tried.
He tried exactly.
Does he propose and does she say yes?
Well, he'll propose, but she's going to say no.
She's going to say no.
Why would she say no though? Because he plays into her personality. So the same. It's kind of interesting. You say the other one's going to work, but not this one.
Yeah.
I don't think the other one's going to work. I am on team. Neither of these are working.
I think the difference in this one is she just really does not want to be married right now. She just doesn't. So
yeah.
And
but does she say yes and prolong the engagement?
That's a possibility.
I think she's got to wait and see how his business turns out.
Right.
And she's probably going to be a controlling thing of that business.
Is he a true entrepreneur? Like, what time is he going to wake up in the morning? He's got clients.
I think these two need each other, honestly.
They need each other?
Yeah, because she makes the money and she's in control and he placates her and then he doesn't have the money, so he relies on her a bit. So I think that's what keeps it going, but I don't think it's a healthy relationship.
It's definitely toxic.
Yeah. I mean, and you could be onto something there, you really could, but it's definitely not healthy.
I could be onto something.
It's definitely not healthy.
But let's move on to James and Ryan.
Yeah, I think they're going to say yes.
So I thought they were going to say yes.
I still
and then you got the preview who's giving us like the whole.
And that preview, I think they're trying to misdirect us, just like they have with other shit.
These guys been together since they were 16.
Yeah.
And Ryan seems pretty loyal and family oriented.
Mm-hmm. And he has definitely learned a little bit, and he's tried to do some self-reflection. He's finally opened up to her more. And so even though the preview made it look like he was walking away, I think that's horseshit. I think they're going to say yes.
Yeah, I think they are going to say yes.
Like I said, I thought they were going to say yes, but the previews lead me. I'm very gullible.
Yeah,
Every time.
The
They're
preview.
telling me they're saying no.
The previews also made us think one of the swap couples are going to have sex, and then it never happened, right? So, yeah.
Well done, Ultimatum.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they're good at that.
Me.
They're good at that.
All right, and the last couple, Raya and Trey.
No, I don't think so.
I think Raya has. I really am very proud and proud, like a proud mama of Raya. Where her journey, she has got some self-realization, and I think she knows she's not ready to get married. She's not ready to compromise and settle. Not that she doesn't love him. It's just right person, wrong time.
And it's exactly what James told him when they had their little one-on-one at the bar together, right? He's like, hey, man, I just don't think he's ready to settle down
couple is interesting to me, too, because it's like a similar situation where it's the opposites or whatever of the other couple. Yeah. And I think that couple stays together. This one, probably not.
Yeah, I don't think this one does.
I also don't think Trey is going to be that sad.
But you got two similar people hooking up and the other two together, but it's for some reason it doesn't work right. And then what I find comical is the woman retains power in both these relationships, where Ryan is kind of like, you better prove to me to take you kind of back. And then somehow, even though those were Trey and Ryan's relationship was going good, somehow Raya has kind of the power, and she's like, you said you loved that girl, and I'm holding that against you.
Well, you said I love her.
She said she wasn't holding it against
falling for her, or whatever you want to call it.
Feels, man. Catch
but
feels.
He said that one line, and then she took that and was like, hey.
But then her sister was like, "Hey, I think it's very good of him to admit that to you. Yeah. It's great that he's honest, and what he is
being honest. He's being real.
I think
he used the experience for what it was meant to be used for. So yeah, I think they move past that. I don't think that's going to be a big issue.
I don't think that plays a factor.
No, I'm just saying she maintained the power after that for the most part.
Yeah,
where he was like, "Hey, come here," and she's like, "I don't know if I've forgiven you."
Right.
And he's like, "Forgiven me?" Because I said one thing.
You agreed to come here, and this is what we were doing.
I mean, it's like you said, Ashley. She's just not ready to get married. She's not. She wants to go. She wants to go live the city life for a little bit, and good on her. She's 24 years old. Sure, go live the city life.
But Trey does seem like a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He is a good guy, but I also don't think
something's missing there, though.
I think he's going to get over it really quick because I think. God dang it, you guys can't get past that. I think he just wants to be married. He wants to be married. He wants to have a family. He just wants that type of life, and he's ready for that. And
my man wants to live in the suburbs, not the city.
He doesn't want to be in the city.
And Raya is just who he's in the relationship with.
He wants a house in the mountains and a house on the lake.
But I think when she moves on, I think if she says
Raya's awesome.
She's moving on, and Ryan were to come in here and say, yeah, I want to give it a shot, he'd be like, okay, I'll try it a shot with you. I don't think
that'd be tough. I think for him,
he's going to be
because I think he has some loyalty and stuff going on as well.
He's a very loyal dude, man. No doubt about it.
But I don't. Does he propose?
I think he does.
This is weird because he gave her the ultimatum, but is he going?
I think he's going to propose. It made it seem kind of weird, like he was, maybe he wasn't going to, but I think he's going. I think he plans on it.
So you think he proposes?
I think he plans on proposing. No, I think he plans on proposing. I think she says no.
I do think he's planning on it, but I really hope she stops.
Is she going to force him to propose, and then have her say something?
I don't. I hope that that's not the case because it's save face here. She knows she's going to say no. Don't get on a knee. Don't do it.
Jeez.
Don't do it. Don't do that to the poor guy.
I'm liking it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the reunion and the final episode.
Yeah, next week, man. We'll see those. So. And we will be doing our videos on those and posting them. So make sure you tune in. Hey, everybody who tuned in tonight, we greatly appreciate it. This has been fun. And we got some questions. We got to talk to you guys a little bit. We're going to be posting this on our site here soon. So please post all your questions on there. We'd love to answer them for you and have a good conversation about what you think about these couples. And until next week, we will check you guys in our next review.
See ya.
See ya.